Have you ever reached into the refrigerator for last night's leftovers, popped them in the microwave, and felt a small sense of satisfaction for making a quick, efficient, and seemingly healthy choice? This daily ritual, repeated in kitchens all across the world, feels like a smart life hack, a way to reduce food waste and save precious time in our hectic lives. We trust the hum of the microwave, the warmth of the plate, and the familiar taste of a meal we enjoyed just hours before. What if I told you that this simple, everyday act could be a form of silent sabotage against your own body? What if some of those reheated meals, which you believe are perfectly safe, are undergoing a hidden chemical transformation, creating toxins that could elevate your risk of cancer, trigger disruptive digestive issues, and even contribute to long-term brain damage? This isn't about fear-mongering or promoting a culture of food anxiety. It's about uncovering the startling scientific truths that lurk in our kitchens, hidden in plain sight within the very foods we consider to be our allies in health. The convenience of modern life has, in some ways, disconnected us from the fundamental chemistry of what we eat, and reheating is a prime example of where this disconnect can have profound consequences. We are about to pull back the curtain on 5 common everyday foods that doctors and nutritionists urgently warn should never be reheated because they can become surprisingly harmful. These are not obscure ingredients found only in specialty stores, but rather staples you likely have in your fridge right now, foods that form the bedrock of a healthy diet. Stay with us as we reveal not only which foods to handle with care, but the fascinating and crucial science explaining why their composition makes them uniquely vulnerable to the perils of a second heating. Understanding this is the key to making smarter, more informed choices that will protect your health, sharpen your mind, and help you feel your absolute best, day in and day out, turning your kitchen from a potential minefield back into a sanctuary of nourishment. The hidden dangers of reheated spinach. Spinach, the emerald jewel of the vegetable world, is celebrated globally as a nutritional powerhouse, a vibrant green leaf that has become synonymous with health and vitality. Its incredible versatility allows it to be blended into nutrient-dense green smoothies that kickstart our mornings, sautéed with garlic and olive oil to create a simple yet elegant side dish, layered lovingly into lasagnas and casseroles to add a boost of vitamins, or tossed fresh into salads for a crisp, clean bite. Brimming with essential vitamins like A, C, and K, along with crucial minerals like iron and manganese, and a host of powerful antioxidants, spinach is rightfully considered a cornerstone of any health-conscious diet. However, a deeply ingrained and seemingly harmless kitchen habit, reheating cooked spinach, can quietly and insidiously turn this celebrated superfood into a potential source of significant harm. The core of this complex problem lies in spinach's naturally high concentration of compounds called nitrates. In their fresh, raw form, or when first cooked, these nitrates are not only harmless but are actually beneficial to human health, known to be converted by the body into nitric oxide, a vasodilator that supports healthy blood flow, helps to lower blood pressure, and can even improve athletic performance by enhancing oxygen delivery to muscles. The trouble begins when the delicate chemistry of this leafy green is altered by the cycle of cooking, cooling, storing, and, most critically, reheating. When cooked spinach is subjected to heat a second time, especially at the high and uneven temperatures characteristic of a microwave, a dangerous chemical transformation can be initiated and accelerated. The beneficial nitrates, NO3, can be broken down by heat and the action of naturally present microorganisms into more volatile compounds called nitrites, NO2. These nitrites, in the acidic environment of the human stomach, can then readily convert into nitrosamines, a class of potent chemical compounds that have been extensively studied and flagged by major health organizations, including the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer and the National Cancer Institute, for their well-documented carcinogenic properties. This is not a minor chemical footnote, but a significant health concern that deserves our full attention. A growing and compelling body of research has established a strong link between the consumption of nitrosamines and an increased risk of developing several types of cancer, particularly those that affect the gastrointestinal tract, such as esophageal, stomach, and colorectal cancer. But the potential risks may not stop there. Emerging science in the field of neurotoxicology suggests that chronic exposure to nitrosamines could also contribute to neurological damage, potentially playing a role in the slow, insidious progression of cognitive decline, memory loss, and other debilitating neurodegenerative diseases over the course of a lifetime. This transformation from beneficial nitrate to harmful nitrosamine is completely invisible, odorless, and tasteless, making it a particularly sneaky and dangerous risk. For older adults, this issue is especially critical and cannot be overstated. As we age, our body's natural defense and repair systems become less robust and efficient. Our cells do not regenerate as quickly as they once did, and our liver's ability to detoxify harmful compounds slows down considerably. Consequently, a dietary habit that might have been a minor, negligible issue in our 20s can have a much more pronounced and damaging impact in our 50s, 60s, and beyond. Chronic exposure to even low levels of dietary nitrosamines can fuel systemic inflammation, a pervasive and destructive state that is now understood to be a key driver of many age-related conditions, including cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's disease. To avoid this hidden danger, the solution is not to banish this wonderful vegetable from your life. Instead, the key is to embrace smarter preparation and consumption habits. Enjoy your spinach fresh or lightly cooked whenever possible. If you find yourself with leftovers from a spinach-heavy dish, the safest and wisest choice is to eat them cold. A cold spinach salad, a chilled spinach and artichoke dip, or spinach blended into a cold soup can be just as delicious and will completely bypass the risky reheating process. If you absolutely must reheat it, do so very gently on a stovetop over low, even heat, and make it a strict rule to never, ever reheat it more than once. By adopting this mindful approach, you ensure that spinach remains a powerful ally in your quest for health, not an unwitting saboteur. The quiet threat in reheated potatoes. Potatoes are the ultimate comfort food, a globally beloved staple cherished across countless cultures for their remarkable affordability, their unparalleled versatility, and their deeply satisfying starchy nature. Whether mashed to a creamy, buttery perfection, roasted with fragrant herbs until their skins are crispy and their insides are fluffy, simmered into a hearty, soul-warming stew, or fried to a golden crisp, potatoes form the comforting and familiar foundation of many of our most cherished meals. They are a reliable source of energy, potassium, and vitamin C. Yet, a little-known and often overlooked danger emerges from the extremely common practice of cooking potatoes, allowing them to cool down and then reheating them at a later time. This seemingly innocent and practical cycle of preparation can trigger a cascade of changes within the potato that pose significant and serious health risks, particularly when they are handled and stored improperly between the cooking and reheating stages. When potatoes are first cooked, their complex starches are gelatinized, breaking down into a form that is soft, palatable, and easily digestible by our bodies. As they begin to cool, however, especially when they are left to sit at ambient room temperature for an extended period of 2 hours or more, those starches undergo a process called retrogradation, transforming into what is known as resistant starch. While this type of starch can have some prebiotic benefits for gut health by feeding beneficial bacteria, the real problem begins when these cooled potatoes are stored incorrectly and subsequently reheated. The primary and most acute concern is the potential for the growth of a dangerous spore-forming bacterium called Clostridium botulinum, which is naturally found in soil and can easily contaminate the surface of potatoes. This bacterium is responsible for botulism, a rare but incredibly severe and potentially fatal form of food poisoning. The risk for the growth of these bacteria is dramatically amplified when potatoes are baked and then left to cool while still tightly wrapped in aluminum foil. The foil creates a warm, moist, and, most importantly, low-oxygen, anaerobic environment, which, combined with the potato's nutrient-rich, starchy composition, creates the absolute perfect breeding ground for dormant Clostridium botulinum spores to germinate, multiply, and produce their deadly neurotoxin. The most frightening and insidious aspect of this threat is that the potent neurotoxins produced by Clostridium botulinum are completely odorless, tasteless, and invisible to the naked eye. The potato may look, smell, and even taste perfectly fine, giving you no warning whatsoever that it could be harboring toxins capable of causing severe illness, with symptoms that can progress rapidly from initial nausea, vomiting, and dizziness to far more serious neurological complications such as blurred vision, drooping eyelids, difficulty swallowing, and progressive muscle paralysis that can ultimately lead to respiratory failure. For older adults, this risk is magnified exponentially. The natural and gradual decline in both immune function and digestive efficiency that accompanies the aging process makes the body significantly less capable of fighting off bacterial invaders and neutralizing their toxins. Furthermore, the burgeoning and fascinating field of gut-brain axis research continually uncovers more evidence demonstrating how the health and balance of our gut microbiome directly and profoundly impact our cognitive function. Chronic gut inflammation, which can be caused by the proliferation of harmful bacteria and the presence of their toxins, has been linked in numerous scientific studies to an increased risk of developing long-term neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Therefore, the seemingly harmless and convenient act of reheating yesterday's baked potato could, over time, contribute to a state of systemic inflammation that silently and relentlessly undermines both your physical and mental health. To continue enjoying this beloved comfort food safely, it is imperative that you always cool leftover potatoes quickly by getting them into the refrigerator within an hour or two of cooking, and always store them in an airtight container, never wrapped in foil. When you do decide to reheat them, it is far safer to use a stovetop or an oven to ensure thorough, even heating that can kill surface bacteria, and you should avoid reheating them more than a single time. By remaining mindful of these simple yet crucial storage and reheating practices, you can ensure that this beloved and versatile tuber remains a nourishing and comforting ally in your diet rather than a hidden source of risk. First, why reheated eggs can betray your health. Eggs are a true cornerstone of modern global cuisine, universally celebrated for their exceptional affordability, their incredible culinary versatility, and their remarkably dense nutritional profile. Whether they are scrambled into a fluffy pile for a hearty breakfast, hard-boiled for a convenient, protein-packed snack on the go, or baked into savory quiches, frittatas, and casseroles, eggs serve as a reliable and accessible go-to source of high-quality, complete protein and a wealth of essential nutrients. They are particularly rich in choline, a vital nutrient that plays a crucial role in brain development, neurotransmitter synthesis, and lifelong muscle maintenance. They also provide significant amounts of vitamin D, vitamin B12, and selenium. Yet, the extremely common habit of reheating already cooked eggs, especially using the intense, uneven, and often explosive heat of a microwave, can transform this wholesome and beneficial food into something that poses subtle yet significant risks to your health. When eggs are first cooked, their proteins undergo a process called denaturation, where the complex, folded protein structures unravel and change their shape into a form that is easy for our bodies to digest and absorb. This is a normal, necessary, and beneficial process that makes the nutrients more bioavailable. However, when you apply intense heat a second time, a new and detrimental set of chemical changes is triggered that can compromise not only their nutritional value but also their safety and digestibility. One of the most immediate and noticeable changes is the further alteration of their protein structure, causing the proteins to become much tougher, more tightly cross-linked, and more densely packed. This structural change not only results in a disappointingly rubbery, chewy, and unappetizing texture, but also makes the egg significantly harder for your body to break down and digest, potentially leading to uncomfortable symptoms like bloating, indigestion, gas, and a general feeling of heaviness in the stomach. More concerning from a long-term systemic health perspective is what happens to the cholesterol molecules naturally present in the egg yolk. When subjected to high heat for a second time, particularly the rapid, high-energy waves of a microwave, this cholesterol can undergo oxidation, a damaging chemical reaction that forms harmful compounds known as oxysterols, or oxidized cholesterol products. An accumulating body of scientific research has strongly linked the dietary intake of these oxysterols to increased systemic inflammation, oxidative stress, and a demonstrably higher risk of developing atherosclerosis and other cardiovascular diseases. This chronic, low-grade inflammation is now widely understood by the medical community to be a major contributing factor to a vast range of age-related health issues, including accelerated cellular aging, impaired cognitive function, memory impairment, and an increased susceptibility to neurodegenerative conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Older adults are particularly vulnerable to these insidious effects. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at processing and clearing fats and cholesterol from our bloodstream. Our arteries progressively lose some of their youthful flexibility and resilience, and our brains become more susceptible to the cumulative damaging effects of chronic inflammation. This means that a seemingly minor and insignificant dietary choice, like microwaving a pre-cooked omelet or a hard-boiled egg for a quick and easy breakfast, can have a disproportionately negative and cumulative impact over time, subtly contributing to the very health problems we strive to avoid. To minimize these risks and continue reaping the many benefits of this nutritional powerhouse, it is always best to cook and eat eggs fresh whenever possible. If you do cook them in batches for meal prepping and convenience, consider enjoying the leftovers cold. A chopped hard-boiled egg can be a wonderful addition to a salad. Sliced eggs make a great sandwich, and chilled deviled eggs are a classic treat. If reheating is absolutely necessary, use a very gentle, low-heat method on a stovetop, perhaps in a covered pan with a splash of water to create steam, which heats them more gently and evenly than the harsh, direct heat of a microwave. By making these small but meaningful adjustments, you can continue to enjoy the immense nutritional benefits of eggs while sidestepping their hidden reheating risks, ensuring this superstar of the food world remains a loyal friend to your body and your brain. The inflammatory truth about reheated chicken. Chicken is an undisputed and ubiquitous staple in countless households around the globe. Widely celebrated for its incredible versatility in the kitchen, its relative affordability compared to other meats, and its well-earned reputation as a healthy, lean source of high-quality protein. Whether it's grilled to smoky perfection in the summer, roasted whole with aromatic herbs for a comforting Sunday dinner, or baked as lean breasts for healthy weekly meal prep, chicken is a reliable and popular choice for busy families, fitness enthusiasts, and virtually anyone aiming to maintain a balanced and healthy diet. Many of us, in an effort to be efficient and plan ahead, adopt the time-saving strategy of cooking chicken in larger batches, carefully storing the leftovers for quick and easy meals throughout the demanding work week. On the surface, it seems like a perfectly practical, economical, and health-conscious habit. However, here's a surprising and important truth that you may not have considered. Reheating that leftover chicken, particularly using high heat and rapid cooking methods like a microwave, can fundamentally and detrimentally alter its delicate protein structure in ways that may contribute significantly to digestive distress, chronic low-grade inflammation, and a host of long-term health concerns. When you first cook a piece of chicken, the heat beneficially denatures its proteins, which means they're complex, tightly wound, Structures unravel and break down into a simpler form that your digestive system can process efficiently, allowing your body to easily access the valuable amino acids within. When you reheat that same piece of cooked chicken, however, those proteins are subjected to the stress of intense heat for a second time. This secondary heating can cause the protein fibers to become even more denatured, leading them to contract, toughen, and form dense, cross-linked aggregates. The immediate and most noticeable result is a culinary one: a dry, rubbery, and far less pleasant texture that pales in comparison to its freshly cooked state. But the more significant consequence is physiological. This altered protein becomes significantly harder for your body to break down and digest. For an individual with a robust and youthful digestive system, this might only result in some minor, temporary discomfort. But as we age, our body's natural production of stomach acid and crucial digestive enzymes, such as pepsin and proteases, tends to decline. This makes it inherently more difficult to process tough, dense proteins, which can lead to uncomfortable symptoms like bloating, gas, indigestion, and a general feeling of heaviness and lethargy after a meal. The negative impact, however, extends far beyond simple digestive discomfort. This secondary heating process, especially at the high temperatures common in microwaving or pan frying, can lead to the formation of a group of harmful inflammatory compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These compounds are a serious and growing concern in nutritional science because they are known to promote chronic, systemic inflammation throughout the entire body. This is not the kind of acute, localized inflammation you experience with a cut or an injury. It is a silent, persistent, slow-burning fire that is now recognized by medical science as a foundational root cause of numerous chronic and debilitating diseases, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, kidney disease, and even neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's disease. Over time, the cumulative effect of consuming foods rich in these inflammatory AGEs can wear down your body's natural resilience, accelerate the aging process at a cellular level, and deplete your systemic resources. To mitigate these significant risks, it is essential to reconsider how you handle and consume leftover chicken. Instead of automatically reaching for the microwave, try enjoying it cold. Shredded cold chicken is a fantastic and versatile ingredient for fresh salads, wholesome wraps, or hearty sandwiches. If you must warm it up, do so gently and evenly. The best methods involve a low-temperature oven or a gentle reheating on a stovetop with a little bit of broth or water to maintain moisture and prevent the high, dry heat that accelerates age formation. By making these mindful adjustments to your kitchen routine, you significantly reduce the inflammatory load on your system, allowing your body to better focus its precious energy on cellular repair, immune function, and maintaining its overall health and vitality for many years to come. When reheated mushrooms lose their magic, mushrooms are a unique and wonderful food, a nutritional and culinary treasure beloved by chefs and home cooks alike for their deep, savory, earthy flavor, their satisfyingly meaty texture, and an impressive and diverse array of potent health benefits. Packed with powerful antioxidants like ergothioneine and selenium, a spectrum of essential B vitamins, and powerful immune-supporting compounds called beta-glucans, they are a fantastic and flavorful addition to almost any savory dish imaginable. Whether you are sautéing humble creminese with garlic and herbs, grilling robust portobellos as a satisfying vegetarian steak, or simmering delicate shiitakes in a fragrant and healing broth, mushrooms add a remarkable depth of flavor and umami richness to meals while simultaneously offering tangible benefits for heart health, immune system modulation, and even cognitive function. However, there's a lesser-known and critically important characteristic of this culinary favorite that warrants careful attention. Mushrooms are exceptionally sensitive to the process of reheating. This inherent sensitivity, rooted in their unique biological composition, can profoundly and negatively affect not only their taste and texture, but also, more importantly, how your body processes them, potentially disrupting your internal balance and creating digestive distress in surprising ways. Unlike most other common vegetables, mushrooms possess a very delicate and complex composition of proteins and active enzymes. They are fungi, after all, with a biology that is distinct from the plant kingdom. When you cook them fresh, their cellular components break down in a controlled and beneficial manner, releasing their wonderful aromatic compounds and making their valuable nutrients readily available for your body to absorb. When you reheat them, however, especially using the high, dry, or uneven heat of a microwave, their delicate protein structure undergoes further and more aggressive degradation. This secondary breakdown of mushroom proteins can lead to two main problems that directly impact your well-being. First, the proteins become significantly harder to digest, forming tough, complex structures that can easily lead to stomach upset, uncomfortable bloating, gas, and a heavy, leaden feeling after your meal. This is particularly relevant and problematic for older adults, whose digestive systems may already be more sensitive and less efficient at breaking down complex foods. Second, and perhaps more importantly from a systemic health standpoint, the delicate and beneficial compounds within mushrooms can oxidize when they are stored improperly after initial cooking and then reheated. This oxidation process forms new compounds that can contribute directly to oxidative stress throughout the body. Oxidative stress is a state of imbalance between the production of damaging free radicals and the body's ability to counteract their harmful effects with antioxidants. It is now understood to be a key driver of the cellular aging process and is deeply implicated in the development and progression of a wide range of chronic diseases, from heart disease to cancer, as it relentlessly fuels inflammation and damages cells, proteins, and DNA. For anyone who is actively managing a chronic health condition or simply trying to age with grace and vitality, minimizing all dietary sources of oxidative stress is a crucial and proactive strategy. The sensory changes you can observe in reheated mushrooms are your first and most obvious clue that something is amiss chemically. That unappealingly chewy, slimy, or watery texture is a clear and unmistakable sign that the mushroom's delicate structural integrity has been profoundly compromised. The once beneficial nutrients and proteins have started to transform into compounds that place an unnecessary and potentially harmful burden on your digestive and metabolic systems. To enjoy these fantastic fungi safely and to their fullest potential, the best practice is to try to cook only what you plan to eat in one sitting. If you do happen to have leftovers, the safest and often most delicious approach is to enjoy them cold. They can be tossed into a fresh green salad, mixed into a grain bowl, or used as a topping for toast with a light vinaigrette. If you feel you must reheat them, it is imperative to use a very gentle, low-heat method on the stove top, warming them through slowly and evenly. By handling these delicate and magical fungi with the care and respect they deserve, you ensure that they remain a delicious, health-promoting, and nourishing part of your diet, not an accidental and regrettable source of digestive and systemic stress.